The National Building Museum in Washington, D.C. was known as the Pension Building in 1885 when Grover Cleveland's inaugural ball was held in the still unfinished building. Composed of over 15 million red bricks, the building contains a great hall that's 316 feet long and 160 feet high. American History TV visited the building to learn about the inaugural balls of several presidents.
My name is Gene, and I'm a volunteer tour guide for the museum. And we're here today to go through what we call the presidential inaugural tours. We do this every 4 years at inauguration time, because this building, which was built as a federal office building over 120 years ago, turned out to be a wonderful place to have inaugural balls. Now, inaugural balls go back to George Washington, as a matter of fact. The first president in 1789 had a party after his inauguration. At that time, the capital of the United States was not here in Washington, it was in New York City, so the party was there. By 1793, when he was reelected, the party moved to Philadelphia, which has become the capital at that moment in time, temporarily, until the structures were built here in Washington, D.C. By that time, Washington had been identified as the capital city, but it was under construction. The Capitol building was under work, as was the president's house under work. So this wasn't a place you could do that. Now, he liked parties, although Martha wasn't there because she was down at Mount Vernon. But by the time John Adams became president, he'd have none of that. So he decided he'd have no parties at all, and purportedly went to his boarding house and had dinner. The first ball that we know of then that was in this town was President Madison in 1809. Dolly Madison was a great, loved to have parties, and so the first one they had, and it was in a hotel. Over succeeding years, they had parties and would have sometimes called a ball, sometimes a party, but it wasn't until the late 1840s that they really began to get into the theme of having an event of special nature here. And they started to build temporary buildings in this Judiciary Area Square of Washington for part of that. Now, one of the things about the inauguration, the Constitution is very clear about how the president will assume power. It says very explicitly in the 20th Amendment that he'll do it on January 20th at noon. And there's the appointed oath of allegiance, or oath of office that he has, the wonderful 37-word thing that requires that he preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution.
I, Ronald Reagan, do solemnly swear.
I, Ronald Reagan, do solemnly swear
That I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States.
That I will faithfully execute the office
of President of the United States.
of President of the United States.
And will, to the best of your ability.
And will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States.
So help you God.
So help me God.
But the rest of the inaugural events are up to the president and his staff and the inaugural committees, and they can do it about any way they want. Lately, it's been pretty much of a pattern in which the president, after being sworn in, then gives the inaugural speech. He has lunch with the congresspeople. He then comes with a parade down Pennsylvania Avenue to the White House, and they review at the White House. Then comes the evening events, and it's during the evening events that we see the inaugural balls. And there can be 1 ball, 5 balls, there can be as many as 14 balls. President Clinton in 1993 had 14, which is the record at the present time. Frequently there are 6 or 7. It depends on the president, it depends on their predictions, it depends on the resources available, it depends sometimes on the weather as to what they're going to be able to do. But it's up to them, the nature and timing and expanse of these. They can have them very elaborate, they can have them fairly simple.